When Wonder Woman first appeared in All-Star Comics issue 8 in 1941, most people wouldn't have imagined that she would be one of DC's longest running superheroes, going on to have a solo series that would run from 1942 onwards, with only a brief hiatus in the late 80s, which was kind of a weird time for the character in general, for being honest. That's over 75 years, people. Impressive. Wonder Woman is part of DC's Holy Trinity not only because of her origins with the comic book giant, but because of the immense amount of power that she wields. Powers that give Superman and Batman a major run for their money. So today we are taking a closer look at the Amazonian with our list of the top 10 superpowers you didn't know Wonder Woman had. Starting us off in at number 10, invulnerability to fire. Similar to DC's Man of Steel, Wonder Woman has a whole lot of tricks up her sleeves, or rather, armor, or bracelets. Now, these powers may not be much of a shock to you if you're familiar with her history. This power specifically is a product of Diana being bestowed powers from Hestia, who also, according to this origin, hooked her up with her lasso of truth. There's been some retconning over the years. Because of this invulnerability, she can withstand the heat from her lasso, which makes it ineffective on her. While this is a power that Diana doesn't exercise often like some of her more obvious abilities, super strength, flight, etc., it has come in handy in cases where she's been engulfed in flames, including an instance when Ares, one of her biggest foes, attempted to use flames to weaken her. It's also something that came in handy during the 2017 Wonder Woman film, when Diana faces off against Ares again, surrounded by flames, and doesn't even break a sweat. If she ever gave up fighting crime and evildoers, she could have a very promising career in the firefighting business. Moving on to number 9, Super Breath. Superman isn't the only DC superhero who can pull off a nifty trick with his lungs. We're talking about his ice breath, in case you're wondering. Wonder Woman may not be able to turn her breath into ice, but it is still pretty powerful nonetheless. During the Silver Age, under the creative guidance of Robert Kanigher, Wonder Woman was given the ability to have super-powered breath, the equivalent of a high-powered jet of air blowing out of her lungs and body. It was a move that even appeared in the Linda Carter Wonder Woman television series, and later resurfaced in the New 52 in Volume 4 of Wonder Woman, Issue 3, when she lights a series of pyres of flame, using her breath to turn a regular flaming torch into a makeshift flamethrower. Like, imagine if you could just bust out a lighter and immediately have your own homemade flamethrower just based off of blowing hard. That would be really dangerous, actually. Don't try that at home, kids. Moving on to number 8, astral projection. Astral projection definitely has its benefits. It is often a power that we see used by mystical or magical characters in the world of comics. I mean, Marvel's Doctor Strange definitely comes to mind when you think of astral projecting. But it is also something that once upon a time Wonder Woman could do back in the day. She once used it alongside Etta Candy to communicate with Steve Trevor, and again went on a rescue mission to retrieve Artemis from Hell. Whether or not this power has been completely removed from the character's roster of abilities is debatable. We have yet to see her use it in her most recent incarnation, making many believe that it is no longer something she possesses. Speaking of more obscure powers though, let's move on to our next number, which very much falls into that category. And at number 7, commanding the military. Actually, when it comes to superheroes, it's no shock that powers can come and go based on the creative team helming a title. Wonder Woman has had her fair share of fluctuating powers and traits over the years, including this neat ability. Diana can control military personnel. This is an ability she gained during the New 52 after defeating Ares, and the mantle of God of War was passed on to her. In other words, soldiers of any sort will obey her commands. It's a rarely used ability, mainly because having this extreme kind of influence over other beings isn't really something that's Wonder Woman's jam. She doesn't like to take advantage of it, since she would literally be taking advantage of human beings when using it. Girl's got a conscience. Ares, not so much. And at number 6, she's omnilingual. Who wouldn't want to be able to speak any language? It's one of the reasons why we're envious of Wonder Woman. She has a heightened proficiency for languages of all sorts, which means she can communicate with pretty much anyone. She even knows how to speak caveman. Actually, it's a thing she did once. And in Volume 1 of Wonder Woman issue 115, her vocabulary was even extended to outside of planet Earth, with her learning to speak Martian. After Crisis on Infinite Earths happened, this ability was further refined. Rather than immediately being able to understand and speak to anyone with whatever language, it was revealed that she had learned every dialect rather than having some Deus Ex Machina power. Diana knows how to speak approximately 6,500 languages. Whoa. Which definitely became useful when she started doing more peacekeeping and working with the likes of the UN. Girl put in the work. And at number 5, dimensional teleportation. Dimensional teleportation as a means of travel doesn't seem to be one of Diana's favorites, but it is a power that she possesses and has used not only in the Golden Age, she often materialized and disappeared in the comics thanks to this power, but also in more contemporary times, including in the New 52. But that latter use of teleportation is thanks to a mystical artifact of Hermes called the Catechus. In Wonder Woman Volume 2 issue 28, she actually uses it alongside Hermes to flee from danger, teleporting out of the Chaos Void. Tying this ability to an artifact flashbacks seems to be one of the ways that DC has tried to make the character less overpowered over the years. Something that Superman has also suffered from time to time. And at number 4, magic. Wonder Woman is magically inclined. In the Justice League Dark comic, Wonder Woman's dormant magical abilities were triggered by a villain called Upside Down Man. He recognizes that her magic powers are latent and, out of pure curiosity, he triggers them, activating them and awakening the White Goddess. Diana trips out a bit when it happens, noting that, I quote, "It's as if my veins are filling up with burning light. I can feel so much power, I've never felt like this before." She was actually the leader of the Justice League Dark team in its second volume during DC Rebirth. It's more so something that helps her blend in better with the rest of the team, I think. Moving on to number 3, telepathy. As if she weren't powerful enough, Diana also has telepathic powers. This is yet another fluctuating ability which actually began as far back as the Golden Age in Sensation Comics issue 3, before she was given her own self-titled solo series. Back then it was called her mental radio, and it was an actual device, which is how she kept in contact with her family and friends back home. But then volume 1 of Wonder Woman rolled around, and in issue 105 things were retconned a bit, with DC giving all Amazonians limited telepathic powers which must be honed by intensive training. What can't those Amazonians do? Up next, number 2, power conversion. Wouldn't it be cool to convert your brain energy into muscle power? Well, that is something that Wonder Woman can do, and she does it really well. She can unleash an extra amount of power in battle that increases her endurance, strength, and speed by charging herself with her mental energy. Now, this is a different power boost than the one that she gets from her bracelets, and puts her at risk of mentally not being all there. In Wonder Woman Volume 1, issue 166, she loses her cool and goes a tad berserk thanks to converting her energy this way. It also happened again in issue 229 from Volume 1 and in Volume 4 of issue 12 of Wonder Woman's solo title. But here's the cool part. Apparently this is an ability that anyone can do in the DC universe if you stick to the intensive training regime of the Amazonians. And last but not least, in at number 1, she can communicate with animals. Makes Aquaman look so much more inferior. Once upon a time, Wonder Woman was in a ludicrous Silver Age story arc that had her completing various absurd tasks at the whims of a couple of millionaires, in order to raise money for a good cause, of course. I bring it up because this power was very prominent in that story and is often remembered as one of her wackiest moments in her history. You know the one. She communicated with a whale who then proceeds to try to lick her in a kind of sexual way, and then she babysits a T-Rex that she rolls around in a baby stroller. That went down in Wonder Woman Volume 1, issue 90. This was one of the earliest uses of her ability to communicate with animals, but not the first. It is a power that has persisted to this day. Sometimes referred to as a unity with beasts, she's used this power to communicate with dinosaurs in Wonder Woman issue 184 at Volume 2, and even made friends with a group of polar bears in Volume 3 of Wonder Woman issue 34. Alright, there we have it, friends. What abilities of Wonder Woman's from our list surprised you? Which ones did you not know about? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know. If you guys dug this video, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button, share with a friend, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd if you haven't already. In the meantime, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video. I'm just like getting pumped up to sneeze. She's just like using Duolingo like every day right before she goes to bed.